candidate for Selectman Patrick Mullins.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, and thank you all for coming tonight. First off, I'd like to thank the Warriors for hosting this event tonight. As many of you know, my name is Patrick Mullins. I live on Winchester Road in Templeton with my wife, Courtney. I've lived in Templeton all my life, with the exception of the time I spent in the military. I'm a combat veteran, having served 6 years with the Army's 82nd Airborne Division. I'm currently employed by the town of Winchester as their recycling coordinator and working foreman down at the town's transfer station. I've made several changes to the facility. And the town of Winchester has been given several citations to attest to these improvements. My military and work background gives me the vast experience in construction, road repair, bridge construction, and environmentally sound decision making. I was formerly a Templeton firefighter and rescue squad responder. I understand the necessity of having a well-trained and well-equipped response unit. I feel our town is very fortunate to have the leadership and resources available to them. I feel our town is very fortunate to protect its citizens when an emergency arises, like an ice storm of 2008. I know firsthand the value of all Templeton, from all departments working together when the disaster strikes, and would work to help ensure this important alliance is kept intact. I graduated from Narragansett Regional High School in 1986. I spent my entire school experience with the Templeton school system. I'm a supporter of our new regional elementary school. I feel all students should be given the same education and the same resources under the same roof. I'd like to see our schools be the school of choice, and rather than the students look to other schools for better education. I realize there are many issues, important issues facing the town of Templeton that I need to learn more about, including and not limited to our senior center. I decided to run as a candidate for selectman after observing our select board making decisions that I feel were not in the best interest of the town. I intend to be open and honest and available to all townspeople. I will strive to resolve all three major issues affecting our town, including the senior center, the town office building, and the elementary school. I hope to have gained your vote for February 6th. Together, I hope to turn Templeton in a new direction. Thank you.
Patrick is open for questions. Ray?
Ray Fotilla. Mr. Mullins, do you believe the town government should be run by petition or by the ballot box?
I believe we do it by the ballot box. We have already proven the point that petition gets us to the ballot box. And we'll have our decision after the ballot.
Any other questions?
Yeah. A number of people have asked me, when is the last time you attended a selectmen's meeting?
The last time was probably about a year ago, Paul.
My question tonight.
I'll like to finish it off first, though. I watch it every week on the TV, and I yell at my TV and throw things at it a lot.
This is my question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patrick, why aren't you putting your name in for highway superintendent? That's where your expertise is, and I think, I had a guy tell me back here, he's heading toward retirement.
I don't believe the job is open yet.
It will be.
Great. I think Bud's doing a fantastic job right now.
How are we going to pay for a new school when we could not even afford to buy a truck for the highway department?
How are we going to pay for a new school?
Where are the people gonna live if they can't afford the taxes?
It's called 2.5 override. I believe we're going to have to step up to the plate, honestly. 2.5 override is what we're going to have to do for a new school.
So,
I just want to make a statement to that. As the deputy assessor, I think everybody in town needs to get in touch with where the people are. It's my office and Carol Lee's office. I spoke about this in a meeting we had recently. Nobody's got any money. Whether you're home with a family, whether you've got young family, or whether you're retired on Social Security. I 2.5 override, I mean, I've got people screaming at me because of the taxes going up $2.05. And I think people in town and elected officials need to get in touch with the people of the town and realize that we are in a destitute situation, the people in this town.
Let alone the foreclosures.
I agree with you, Sue, but also the same people are screaming about the condition of our roads, the fire department not having their ambulance that they would like to have replaced, the police chief needing new vehicles, the school system.
Response?
So,
Then perhaps the fire department should be allowed to keep their receipts from the ambulance like was voted back in 2006.
I agree with you.
And maybe perhaps the excise tax money should go to, instead of funding positions and creating jobs for, let me think, positions that we haven't needed in years.
Sure. I agree with you, Sue. And like other towns, they've gone to one employee per office instead of 2.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes, Patrick, recently at the meeting that Sue was alluding to.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
Recently, the meeting that Sue alluded to was a department head meeting.
Yes.
That a few of us attended along with the new town coordinator and most of the department heads and a few citizens.
Yes.
There was a budget shortfall that was brought out that's in a $450, $500,000 range, and down a little bit, up a little bit. What's your opinion on how that should be addressed? Through a 2.5 override tax increase, cutting services, layoffs? How would you approach that?
Again, we're talking about 5%, you're thinking?
No, the amount is about $450,000 shortfall.
Okay.
So how?
Working together with the other selectmen and our town department heads, I think that we could work something out somehow, some way, whether it's, through 2.5 override, like I was saying, or we might have to cut back on services somewhere. Sure.
Bob?
There's been other people in different positions that people on the select board have voted to.
Speak up, Bob.
There's other positions that people on the select board have voted basically not to renew them, basically get rid of them. I mean, people voted against Bud before. There was things in the paper to get rid of Tammy Collins. Were you equally bothered by that? I mean, you didn't run last time.
No, I didn't.
And,
But there are things in the paper too, that's all you're saying.
I mean, some of them were actual votes, it would seem.
Do we have actual votes that they got rid of them?
Well, no, but they voted to get rid of them. Certain people, not to re-up their appointment.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like you were bothered. And I guess, going back to the legal access, we narrow that on people, or would you leave it where it is now, where it's fairly open?
There's plenty of seating up here if you can't hear.
Again, Bob, I think we already talked about it, though. I mean, I understand what you're saying, that there's some people that were talked about and all this kind of stuff,
Well, not only talked about, voted at selectmen's meetings.
but they're still here.
Well, does that really matter? I mean, they were voted to get.
Dana?
Dana Blake, if elected, Pat, would you be, well, we heard about increases in health insurance. Would you be willing to look into a program where the employees pay more of the health insurance? Other communities pay 50%. Right now, the employees only pay 25%. We have taxpayers in town that don't have health insurance, that have to keep subsidizing the employees when their health rates go up. How do you feel about that?
I feel I would work together with the board, if I was elected, to look into that, Dana. I really do believe that we need to adjust how much the town does pay for benefits for health insurance. I currently have my wife's insurance, but when I was working for the town of Winchendon by myself, we paid 40%, the town pays 60%. And they're looking to adjust theirs, I'm sure.
Any other questions? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd just like
asked the same question that I asked the union, and you've pretty much answered it, but you know, with so many things going on in town, with the school district, with the lack of an appropriate police station, you mentioned a police cruiser, you need a police station.
Sure do.
And that's a lot more than a cruiser. You know, as well as the lack of an appropriate town hall, and plus the recall and the problems that seem to, the inability of certain people in town to work together and to compromise.
Well, I remember a few years ago, we tried to get a safety complex going in town. It was going to be state-of-the-art, right across the street from the high school, perfect location. We had the land donated to us. It was only going to cost $2.5 million, and nobody wanted to do it. Right now, we're pretty close to spending that on just a town hall when it's all finished, probably, I don't know. But I feel that we need to basically step up to the plate and get things done and stop dancing around in old buildings. We get one regional elementary school, it'd be a lot better than having to maintain these older elementary schools that have maintenance issues that are not being addressed.
Anything else? Thank you, Patrick. Oh, wait a minute, one more. Last
If
question.
that's the case, why didn't we just regionalize one big building for everybody instead of worrying about the one on Ballsville Road? But just, why didn't we go to that extent? Then everybody could be there in one building.
We did, and the town voted not to do that in a vote in the town meeting hall.
Good enough. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.